A very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him?
Let's talk about Barron Trump.
I want to say something. Shout out to Barron. All right, Barron, I know you be with the stream, Barron, you know what I'm saying? Chat, Barron, you know what I'm saying? Barron's cool. He's an AR loyal. You know what I'm saying, chat? He's funny, all right? He's an AR loyal, man. He's tapped in. He's tapped in. He knows, chat. He knows everything. He knows, bro. All right? He's funny, man. He's a funny guy. He's one of us. He's very, very smart, though. Very, very smart. Very smart, man. Get him on stream. Maybe in the future. We'll see. What if he's in the chat right now? The world may never know. The world will never know. But shout out to Barron, bro. Seriously, a good dude. Barron, if you ever run for president one day, I'll be your right-hand man.
He is close with kick streamer Aiden Ross.
So I have a son who's very smart and tall, Barron, right? And he knows all about you. He knows about guys I never heard of. He said, Dad, you don't know how big they are. They're big. You know, he told me how big. I said, who the hell is he? Like Ross. I did. He said, Dad, he's a great guy. I mean, guys that are doing, it's a whole new world out there.
Which led to this abomination of an appearance on his stream.
He also gives his 19-year-old credit for showing him a thing or two about crypto. Barron, who taught his dad what a wallet is, I'm assuming a crypto wallet, co-founded World Liberty Financial, a cryptocurrency company, with his father and oldest brothers last year, less than 2 months before the 2024 election. Most financial advisors wouldn't advise getting your parents into crypto, but most parents aren't about to be the elected president. And so then World Liberty Financial exploded. Forbes estimates that added over $1.5 billion to Trump family fortunes, about 10% of which, or $150 million, belongs to Barron. So Barron is, how old did it say? Whatever. Could you look up? Really young.
19, I believe.
19? He's 19 and he's already $100 millionaire.
He helped his family get rich by getting involved in crypto. In addition,
in the past, he famously said, I am absolutely sexist and I'm absolutely a misogynist.
The woman must learn that her man is an iron mountain and the easiest path is to obey. Any other kind of resistance simply doesn't work.
But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his.
All cheating scenarios, 100% of the blame is always on the female. Look after yourselves. When the last time you put some makeup on? Do some burpees. You got gut. Sort yourself out so you can end that confusion. While we're on subject of cheating, if your man does cheat, the most stupid thing you can do is leave him.
Fact that every single organization that is primarily run by females is just a mess anyway. The staff are gonna hate you. The staff are gonna hate each other. The staff are gonna start stealing customers behind your back because you're never there. The actual members of staff who are doing the actual work, the makeup, are gonna be like, you know what? That never even comes into her own business. This. Hey customer, I could do the exact same thing at your house cheaper at 7 p.m. tonight.
Breathe for the rest of the day. If you don't end up in a fucking grave, if you want to sleep in the house where I have to pay bills, you're gonna shut the fuck up, you little prick. Because this is my fucking world, and you exist in my world. If you think you're smart enough to live on your own, fucking run away from home. But if you don't want to play that game, shut the fuck up or I'm gonna hurt you.
Does he not?
I was getting on a plane and I could see through the cockpit that a female was the pilot, and I took a picture and I said, most women I know can't even park a car. Why is a woman flying my plane? And they banned me.
Andrew Tate is facing more serious human trafficking charges. Mr. Tate, his brother Tristan, and 2 Romanian female suspects are now being investigated for human trafficking in continued form.
A recent report shows the ties between Barron and former kickboxer Andrew Tate.
But something that's flown under the radar is the story of how this man and his brother, 2 of them there, both facing charges of rape and human trafficking in Romania, were suddenly allowed to return to the United States, and how the Trump administration might have been involved in that. One of those men, Andrew Tate, is one of the most proudly, violently misogynistic influencers in the world, with an enormous following online, particularly among young men and even teenage boys. And in his online content, he and his brother have bragged about their recruitment and exploitation of women to make pornography. Both brothers have repeatedly denied criminal wrongdoing. Well, now the New York Times, in a remarkable investigative report, finds that they were released from Romanian custody only after Trump administration officials intervened. An official in the White House told the Times that it was not involved in Tate's legal matters. But the Times reports that 6 days before Trump's inauguration, Andrew Tate wrote in a text, quote, "I had word from the Trump administration that they're on top of things. I've been told I'll be free soon." And here is how the Tate brothers reacted when, in fact, they were freed. And they boarded their flights back to the States the very next month.
You know you are, Andrew? You know what we are? We are back. We are so back. No one has ever been more back than we just got.
Incredible details would follow. Let's also remember.
They are accused rapists, human traffickers, not thought of as good people in many circles. Did your administration pressure the Romanian government to release them, and if so, why?
I know nothing about that. I don't know. You're saying he's on a plane right now?
He's back. They already made it.
Yeah, I just know nothing about it. We'll check it out. We'll let you know.
Well, this may very well be a lie. Thus, we start at the beginning. The New York Times reported Andrew Tate nurtured various relationships within the Trump family, including Barron and his older brother, much older brother, Donald Trump Jr. Barron spoke with Tate over Zoom per their mutual friend, Justin Waller. Here's a visual of Waller, viewed as the third Tate brother with Andrew and Tristan. Currently, their cases in Romania are ongoing. In Britain, they face rape and human trafficking charges. Stateside, the Department of Homeland Security have been investigating the brothers for some time.
Since late 2022, they have been under criminal investigation in Romania. And the allegations are there that they have coerced dozens of women into their porn business, into what amounts to trafficking. And that Andrew has raped one of those women. And there's accusations that he had sex with and beat a 15-year-old. And so those...
I want to just say that again. There's an accusation that he had sex with and beat a 15-year-old.
Correct. And so this case, as the prosecutors have been building this case, they have repeatedly sought to keep these guys confined. And so they had been prohibited from leaving the country as the prosecutors are building this case, with the prosecutors saying that they posed a public danger. In Britain, prosecutors have authorized charges. They're not just under investigation. They've authorized charges of trafficking and rape against both brothers there. And those are charges that they'll have to face when the Romania case is complete. They'll have to go to Britain and face those there.
After his arrest, Tate hired a lawyer by the name of Joseph D. McBride. He is one of the litigators who defended the January 6 insurrectionists. McBride, per the Times, linked Tate with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. And it would go deeper.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andrew is a very smart man, and I'm not going to get into all the accusations against him. I don't know the truth, or we'll find out. But I will say this, what he says is so powerful, and let's emphasize on that. What Andrew Tate is doing is he's communicating a warning of what happens when society becomes too feminine. We are seeing the American man, porn addicted, lowest testosterone rates in 30 or 40 years, least married, least purpose, most suicidal in history. Why? It's because our society is configured towards collapsing the American man. That's bad for men, it's bad for women, it's bad for our country. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Andrew Tate has become so unbelievably successful, is he does it in an eloquent and charismatic way with a lot of wisdom. But honestly, is Andrew Tate saying anything that 30 years ago would not have been commonplace to say?
And deeper.
I mean, we are in a matriarchy, and this is why they accuse me of being an internalized misogynist, because I'm able to think through and acknowledge the flaws of what happens in society when women get power. And if you want to know what happens, look around you. Women fall for emotional arguments the entire time. They show us a commercial, show us, it's so sad. And before they get to the rational aspects of it, they're already invested emotionally. And I think that virtually every societal ill that we are facing today is because of women. I think that virtually every societal ill that we are facing today is because of women. And I think the greatest recent example of that is the Bud Light controversy, because, I mean, trans people were just playing dress up as women, invaded every women's space, and women said, oh, but I feel bad because it's how he identifies at the inside, without thinking through the fact that you're quite literally disappearing yourselves, right? You're quite literally saying, I will cease existing before I let this grown man who's wearing a wig have a bad feeling. That's insane. That is a patently insane emotional conclusion to come through. Yeah. Then Dylan Mulvaney sipped one beer, and Kid Rock was out there with an AK, and Bud Light collapsed because men said absolutely not. And I give that example because women need to realize how backwards it is that it took men to stand up to say something was wrong when it was so obviously patently wrong. Yeah. Nobody cared.
There's certain things that women can do so much better than men. I said this the other day. I was saying to my brother had his daughter here and my niece was here. And I said, isn't it amazing? I found this amazing. I said, isn't it amazing the patience a mother has with a toddler? I'm like, she's been listening to Peppa Pig for 4 hours. I would lose my mind. I couldn't do it. I simply couldn't do it. So women have this emotionality, which is so fantastic when it's properly used, when it's put into place it's supposed to be. I would never drop my child off to a daycare full of men. Would you drop your 3-year-old child to a daycare run exclusively by males? No. It'd be weird. It's just something about it is weird. I wouldn't trust the men not to lose their temper with the kid. I wouldn't understand why all these men want to be around these children all day. It would be a very weird scenario. So we all understand innately our gender roles, innately on some level. So women have a fantastic superpower when it's properly used. But like everything on earth, if you have a superpower or any kind of power at all and it's put in the wrong direction, it can be destructive. Water, if it's going through a dam, can power a city. If it's not going through a dam, it's a flood.
From there,
Candace on Theo Von. And Theo Von's clearly red-pilled. Stephen A. Smith had Candace Owens on. He's clearly red-pilled. Jason Whitlock is praising Andrew Tate. He's clearly red-pilled. Andrew Tate is on Nelk, red-pilled. Tate is on PBD, spreading the message. Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan seems to be, I don't know if we could say he's red-pilled, but certainly he hints every now and again that he knows maybe more than he lets on. So it is a very exciting time, and I love to see it. It does make me very happy, and it's very white-pilling. Because like I said, 10 years ago, when I went to Charlottesville and we said Jews will not replace us, that sort of encapsulates both of the problems, right? Which is replacement migration and if Jews run society, are they not responsible? Back when I did that, I was radioactive, I was ostracized, I was canceled. They said my career was over. And largely it was the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro who were responsible for that. And they were untouchable at that point. And what a long decade it has been. What a long 8 years it has been since that time. And now it's almost reversed. Daily Wire is crashing and burning, desperate for relevance. Candace Owens has gone independent, going full red pill, talking about the things I've talked about on this show for years. It seems like the message is finally getting out there. So it's pretty remarkable to see.
Trump would even share this post. He wrote, "Thank you," on a video of Andrew's brother, Tristan, defending the current president. When Barron hosted a dinner for influencers at Mar-a-Lago, Waller was there. Now, back to McBride. He pressed their case in meetings with members of Congress, according to an interview he gave to Roger freaking Stone. McBride said both male and female lawmakers were outraged at the brothers' treatment.
It's very clear from your reporting, even though the Trump administration has tried very hard to run away from it and deny it, and Romanian officials have tried to deny it, that there was some pressure put by the Trump administration to get these guys back to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, what we found was that their release from Romania was really the culmination of years-long efforts by Andrew Tate in particular to forge very strategic alliances with prominent figures on the American right, media figures like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, people in the Trump family, first Don Jr. and then Barron, and then eventually some of his supporters who were very public with their support and defense of him and their criticism of the Romanian criminal case ascended into the Trump administration.
Alina Habba. That's when the Times names Trump attorney Alina Habba, who told Tate in a podcast, I believe on Benny Johnson's show, that she has their backs. Richard Grenell, meanwhile, is involved, not to mention Paul Ingrassia, who we discussed on this very platform. Check out that clip on demand. Printed by the outlet, the diplomatic envoy Richard Grenell twice discussed their case with Romanian officials, the Times would find. Victor Ponta, seen here, is an advisor to Romania's prime minister. He would make a trip to Florida in basically an effort to play nice with the Trump admin. Importantly, Ponta, when asked if he discussed the Tate's case with Grenell, affirmed they had. Last month, though, Ponta changed his rhetoric completely. Raise your red flag here, please. The Financial Times would also report Grenell discussed the case with a former Romanian foreign minister. How much intel do y'all need at this point? In February, the order came down instructing prosecutors to negotiate with them, according to two people familiar with the move who were not authorized to discuss it. The PM believed the Trump admin would be happy with the outcome, a third person would say. When asked that day whether the Trump admin had aided in the Tates' release, McBride told the New York Times, quote, "Do the math. These guys are on the plane." Following all of this, Roger Stone would tweet, then delete, that Grenell basically secured the Tates' release.
The Barron Trump part of it is interesting because it really does sort of give the lie to or prove the lie to the notion that all these guys are speaking to just struggling men, struggling young men.
Yeah.
There
alienated young men who are not getting enough attention from women and are, don't have enough economic opportunity. Barron Trump.
And look, there are people out there like that. No question. I've met them. I interact with them all the time. But there's an awful lot of people who love them some Andrew Tate and other manosphere influencers just because they're assholes and like calls to like. These people are seeing in Andrew Tate, they're seeing in other manosphere figures the kind of person that they are and want to be. And so this is not a thing where you look at an Andrew Tate and say, well, it's a shame that this person speaking to disaffected and alienated youth has so many problems. No. What these people are doing is they are sort of sending out into this call of the wild, a beacon for all your angry, exploitive, vicious men, and then urging them to double down on all the worst elements of their nature. And this is a part of the manosphere story. Part of it is struggling young men reaching out, but a part of it is just calling out